Hey, what's up, everybody? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt like your desires are pulling you in a bunch of different directions, maybe, a million directions at once, or like you're riding the waves of your emotions, but can't quite control where you're going or where it's going to take you? Or maybe you experience a deep longing to not only feel something, but then when you do feel that something, you end up frustrated because it may not have manifested exactly as you expected. What if I told you that this emotional intensity isn't random, but it's an essential part of how we create our experience and align with our true path? Welcome to So Successful, where I help ambitious founders, leaders, and coaches eliminate resistance and gain clarity in their decision making so they can take bold, aligned action without draining their energy or second guessing themselves. If this is your first time here, please make sure you check out my free training called Successful Signals. This training is where I break down the unique strategy for each human design type so you can align your energy and make decisions with confidence. The link is in the description below. Now, let's dive into Gate 30, the Gate of Desires. In human design, this gate holds the energy of passion, longing, emotional intensity, and it really shapes how we experience and pursue what we deeply want. Gate 30 teaches us that desire is not about control, it's about surrendering to the process and allowing it to unfold and really allowing life to unfold. I know at times that can be very difficult. Me as well. Life doesn't always unfold exactly how I envisioned it, but that's just how life is. So let's explore how this energy influences your journey and how we can navigate our emotional highs and our emotional lows, and really how to align our desires with our highest path. Gate 30, the gate of desires. In astrology, this is Aquarius. In tarot, this is the Ace of Wands. In the I Ching, this is Li, the clinging fire. And the energy of this gate is very passionate, it's emotional, intense, and transformative. It is located in the emotional solar plex, and it is reaching down towards the root. In essence, Gate 30 is the fire of desire. You've probably heard of songs, books, all types of things in our culture. Today is actually Valentine's Day, so it makes sense that we are feeling this energy around the time of Valentine's Day. And so the emotional intensity that fuels our dreams, that fuels our passions, and deep longing, whether it's for ourselves or maybe even for somebody else. But it doesn't necessarily guarantee the manifestation is going to come to reality, but it does hold the energy of experiencing desires fully, whether or not they are fulfilled. And this gate is about embracing the emotional waves, understanding that desire itself is a powerful experience, is one of the things that we are here to experience, even if it doesn't lead to an immediate outcome. It reminds us that attachment to specific results can lead us to suffering. And a lot of times you may hear that we cause our own suffering because we have certain assumptions or that we are attached to certain outcomes. And so if we can work on surrendering to the journey, it allows for greater flow, greater ease, and greater fulfillment. I know for me, for whatever reason, this week I do have a lot of that fiery desire, particularly for my wife and around the bedroom activities. And if you're in a relationship or if you're married, you know that sometimes things work out. There may be times where you're more frequently active in the bedroom, and then there are times when you are not. And so for me, I personally have to work on, those expectations and my expectations of my wife. I literally try not to have expectations, but this is the one area as a generator that I get frustrated with, typically because I can't do it on my own. It takes two people to do it. Well, there are personal activities, but you get my drift. So you may also be, having some type of fiery. It may not be necessarily towards the bedroom. It may be towards some activity that you're doing, a job, or even some idea that you're really fired up about and you want to take action on, or you've already taken action on it, but it hasn't quite manifested exactly how you want it. And, to be perfectly real about it, most things don't manifest exactly how we envision it. It may be close, but it may not be a bullseye. So this week we want to reflect on our relationship with desire. Do we allow ourselves to fully experience the longing without attachment? Or do we feel frustrated? That's me when things don't go our way. And we can also meditate on how our emotions shape our experiences. And can we just trust the process, even when things feel uncertain? And so you may also want to ask yourself, what would change if I embraced my desires without fearing disappointment? I'm going to ask myself that a lot, or I have been this week as well. In shadow, this is really, or the lower expression of gate 30 can really put us on the emotional roller coaster where there are tons of ups and downs, and where, this desire creates restlessness, it creates frustration, or it creates disappointment when the outcomes don't align with our expectations. And it can also lead us to become obsessed or really burnt out chasing external fulfillment without appreciating the experience of going through this in itself. Right. So this experience that I'm talking about with my wife, it's actually teaching me, what is it about that I can't do for my own? Like, what is the feeling that I'm searching for that I, feel like I can't do myself? And is that actually true? Is there a way that I can channel my energy to enjoy the experience, enjoy, as we're talking about, the longing for it without actually, you know, having to feel like there has to be a certain destination at the end of the tunnel? In enlightenment, this energy is really our highest state. And this gate teaches us emotional mastery, learning to ride those waves without attachment and trusting that the experiences that we're going through, they're going to come and they're going to go. And for whatever reason, we are here to experience those ups and downs. And when we embrace this energy of gate 30, it really helps us cultivate a deep passion, resilience, and an ability to surrender, to just flow with life. In human design, gate 30 is in the emotional solar plex on the right side of your chart. And this makes it emotionally driven. And it really requires time and clarity before we really act on these emotional impulses. And it reaches down on your chart to the root center, which is at the bottom. And so this is showing a connection to survival, the drive, the momentum in pursuing our desires. And when this is paired with gate 41, it creates the channel of recognition, which amplifies the need for emotional clarity before we decide to act on our dreams. My son actually has this channel this week because he has gate 41 along now with gate 30 with this energy this week. A little difficult for me to see how that's impacting him this week, but I do know that for us as a family, we're looking at the things that we want to achieve here in the next year or two. We moved to La Ceiba, Honduras to be with my wife's family about 6 or 7 months ago. And at the top of the year, and going into now February, we're really starting to really focus in on what our desires are. I'm still updating my vision board from the beginning of the year, but it's completely changed. And so, you may also see that the things that you started the year out thinking you're going to desire have not exactly been what is happening. And so you may see yourself updating your goals, updating the things you are focusing on, or just feeling like this is the week that you are really going to push on those desires. Circuitry for gate 30, this is part of the individual circuit. It's parts of the sensing circuit, which means it processes emotions, desires, and experiences on a deeply personal level. And this energy is also focused on feeling deeply and allowing feelings to shape wisdom, shape our creativity, and to also shape our spiritual growth. Our strategy for this gate, since it's in the emotional solar plex, because this gate should never be made in the heat of the moment, or decisions shouldn't be made in the heat of the moment when we have this energy. So this is all about waiting for clarity and allowing our desires to align with the right timing for us to make proper decisions. So that means this is a projected energy. And so this gate thrives and it is very deep on insights and is also very emotionally intense and can be very overwhelming at the same time because it's so emotionally intense. So it's best that we are recognized by others before we share the value that we are here to share with our insights and our could be very intense emotions that we have with this gate 30. When we activate this energy, we're going to feel a deep passion and a longing, fueling our creativity, our ambition, and transforming our experiences. And we're also going to recognize that the power that we have can also be used to surrender, right? We don't always have to take control with that power. We can surrender and trust that life is going to do what it does. Life is going to unfold on its own time. And we are here to experience the ups and the downs, the joy, those powerful emotions that come along with life. And we also learn to develop emotional resilience with this gate. And it helps us to learn to embrace both the highs and the lows without attachment. In shadow, we may feel overwhelmed by these intense emotions because, again, it's a wave in the emotional solar plex. So you may feel up one moment and down one moment. And you may be struggling with this, all right? You may feel frustration, disappointment, anger. This depends on your strategy and your authority, how these emotions may manifest for you. And in shadow, there's also a tendency really to hold on to expectations, leading to suffering when desires don't manifest as planned. I feel I don't want to say that I'm suffering because of those expectations, but I do feel, like I mentioned, the longing, like whenever I don't get, for a better lack of a term, my way on how things are going to work out. It's something I've also been looking at with my wife, who's a generator, and she has an open G center and an open ego center, meaning she's not necessarily here to keep commitments, where I'm here with a closed ego center and I'm here to keep commitments. That's where a lot of, let's call it, friction and frustration on my part comes. And it's not just her, I have that with other people as well who don't necessarily keep their commitments. In theory, I know that they're not here to do that, and I am, but it doesn't really make it any much easier for me whenever I run into those situations. Also, feelings of burnout can arise from chasing some type of external validation versus rather in just enjoying the process and focusing on yourself. In my case, focusing on me and my process. The last time I had a chance to connect with my ancestors, they mentioned to me that I was not necessarily living in joy. I wasn't enjoying the process. And, to be truth about it, I wasn't. This was maybe 2 months ago. And, the things I was doing, it was all in focus of a specific goal when in reality, that's not even really what I wanted to do. So I was again chasing that external validation rather than enjoying the process. And so since I've started doing that in the past month or so, things have turned around a lot for me, and I'm really enjoying my life here in Honduras, being here with the family and having a different perspective on, moving forward. Things we want to work on transmuting with this energy, shifting from attachment to outcomes to really trusting the process, and really recognizing that the power that we desire is in the experience itself, not just the end result that we get from that experience. With this energy, things that we may want to strengthen, we may want to develop emotional patience. So that means allowing clarity to emerge before we decide to take actions based on our strong desires. And I also want to strengthen our ability to surrender to life's timing, knowing that what's meant for you, what's meant for us, will come when the time is right. How do we activate this energy? Well, one, we can practice mindfulness. Allow yourself to feel what you want, but observe it without attaching to an outcome. We can reflect on our emotional patterns. So pay attention to how you feel when these desires arise and fall, because it's a wave. Sometimes they're here, sometimes they're not. And notice where you may be holding back or holding on to expectations a little too tightly. And it's getting you all wound up, frustrated, mad, angry when someone doesn't do exactly what you want them to do, or life just doesn't work out for you. And then we can work on channeling that passion into creativity. So instead of seeking immediate fulfillment, express your desires through art, through journaling, or through movement. For me, I'm expressing it here on YouTube, and I'm also going to play some tennis right after this. I found that if I don't have any movement, if I'm not working out in my life, things just tend to not go as well. So today I was feeling some of that frustration, energy, and so I am going to go play tennis and do some movement to try to, release some of that. For additional support, we can read The Surrender Experience by Michael Singer. And this book is about letting go of control and trusting the flow of life. We can also engage in breath work or meditation to regulate our emotional waves and to gain clarity before we make decisions. Gate 30, the Gate of Desires, teaches us that passion and longing are part of the human experience. It reminds us that desire itself is powerful, even when it comes and goes, and the outcomes are uncertain. By embracing our emotional waves and trusting in divine timing, we can learn to surrender. We can learn to unlock greater flow. We can learn to unlock greater creativity and alignment with what is truly meant for us. That is it for Gate 30. Peace.